guys, it's been a minute. I think that goes without saying, but I'm here filming. Crazy, unheard of actually. I only kind of look like a crackhead. I did self-tanner, so I'm like a tanned crackhead now, which is good. Normally when I film, I clean my room, make my bed, put on some makeup, wear not this, but you know, I just need to stop making up excuses and just film. So here we are. Today's video is a Q&A. I asked you guys on December 22nd for some questions via my Instagram story. This originally was gonna be a get ready with me / Q&A, but I got way more questions than I thought I would. They're also like super kind of like deep. Knowing myself, my multitasking skills are no bueno, so I decided to make this 2 separate videos. I will do a get ready with me at some point, but this is the Q&A portion. As you may have noticed, my background and stuff is a bit different. I did move. I still go to the same school. I moved actually about like 5 minutes away from my old house, so love that. So now that we've addressed why I look like a crackhead, why the setting is different, etc., let's jump right into the video. Let's start off with the first question. It reads, favorite foundation. This is an easy one, guys. They get a lot more in depth. My favorite foundation is probably Born This Way Toothpaste, Born This Way. I really love this foundation. I feel like it's like buildable. It can be lower coverage if you want it to be, or it can be definitely high coverage. This is not my day-to-day foundation. This is like when I actually do my makeup. I probably do an eye look with it. I also really like the Smashbox Studio Skin Foundation. I really like this because it's like more of like a sheer coverage, and it also gives you that like not wearing foundation look, which I really enjoy, especially like, okay, if I'm getting ready for school really fast, I just grab my beauty blender, like put a little bit on my hand and just like blend it all out, and that's about all I do. Basically, that's my foundation craze these days. How do you get your lashes and eyebrows perfect 24/7? Number 1, that's so sweet, thank you. The secret to my life is Roden Field's Lash Boost. This is what it looks like. Get this, love this, it's your new best friend. It comes in this container like this, and you just apply a little bit with this little brush here on like the very line of your lashes, and then usually once I'm done with that, I apply the excess to my eyebrows. It's kind of expensive, very expensive, but I'm sure you've seen eyelash extensions before. Eyelash extensions, if you get good ones, are pretty pricey. I would say around like $60 or so, and they last about like 3 weeks, and then they start falling out. You can't wear mascara, all this kind of stuff. They do look really pretty. But I would say if you're contemplating getting those, I would go for this. I think it retails for $159, which is insane, but it is worth every penny. I'm on my 2nd tube, and I've been using this for almost 2 years now. So if you get lash extensions and you keep getting them like redone and refilled, if you go through like 4 different sets of extensions, you've paid 60 times 4.
2 hours later.
A lot of money, basically the equivalent of this. And this, you're growing your own lashes. You can put as much mascara as you want. You can wear false lashes on top of it if you want an even more dramatic look. Okay, next question. What are you gonna do without Iowa Elite next year? I am on my 10th season of competitive cheer. This is my 10th season of Iowa Elite as well. So that's the gym that I cheer for. Most of you have probably watched my vlogs. If not, go watch them. Yes, this is my 10th year. That means I started when I was 8. That's crazy. That 10 years of my life has been spent like cheering. Iowa Elite has always been like my second home. When I moved to Des Moines, I had to check out other gyms and see like what there was available in the Des Moines area. And I visited a few gyms, and like nothing felt right at all. Iowa Elite is like where I belong. So I was ready to hang up cheer. I was like, I don't want to do cheer if I can't do it at Iowa Elite. Lucky for me, Iowa Elite decided to have a new location in Des Moines. So I joined Iowa Elite Des Moines. So 6 years at the Cedar Rapids Iowa Elite gym, 4 years at the Des Moines Iowa Elite gym. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. I actually have no idea. So next year I'm hoping to be a Cyclone cheerleader. That is the goal here. You know, I don't know if it'll be for me, but I wanna try it out and see. But I'm definitely gonna miss coaching all my teams, and I'm gonna get emotional. Okay, that's enough for that question. What's your fave Vine? This is such a good question, bro. So yes, my camera stopped filming. That's super cool. Ran out of storage. Awesome. Normally at this point I would just quit and then like go to bed, but I'm pushing through. I literally answered almost every single question. I need to make sure this is going now because I'm like freaked out. Favorite Vine. Okay, so all my favorite Vines are like ones that no one else thinks is funny, and I just find them so funny. But like they're also like not well known. Like obviously you have the I could have dropped my croissant, and then you have the one where he's like, road work ahead. Yeah, I sure hope it does. Like all those common ones that are like funny, but now they're just like overplayed to me. So I'm gonna like try and explain to the best of my abilities like one or two that I find really freaking funny. But then there's a few that you literally just can't even attempt to explain. Like you have to see them. All I'm saying is go watch Vines that toast my buns and also Vines that butter my croissant on YouTube, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. I really like the one where there's like this family and they're skiing, and like one of them goes, smile, we're in Colorado, and then a person in a giraffe costume like zooms by on skis and he goes, I'm a giraffe, and I just think that is so funny. Like every time. The other one that I think is like probably the funniest Vine ever is there's like a, I want to say it's like an otter or like a beaver or something of like the water / land creature mammal type thing.
So I was just informed the other day that it is actually a wombat in the video. I don't know if that's true or not, but there you go. That's the animal. It's the word on the street.
And he's like standing on the ledge and people are like videoing him, right? And he goes, ah! And like just like screams so loud, and I think it's so funny. Let me just play this noise for you. I'll show you what the sound that he makes. Like, I also really like the, Reginald, are you kidding me right now? I also really like the one where the, there's like a bunch of, Reggie! I also really like the one where there's like a bunch of like geese, and then the girl's like, look at all those chickens, and they're, do you think I would get copyright if I put the Vine in here? No, I wouldn't, because people make Vine contemplations, or compilations. That's what it is. My sister always makes fun of me because I can't pronounce that word. I already forgot it. Okay, next question. Favorite song right now? I like a mix of like, I really like rap, obviously. I feel like most teenagers do these days. Like, oh, I really like Taste by Tyga. That is my song. Like, if that song ever comes on, like, I'm freaking bopping. Pulled Up by Paris is really good. Chanel? I can't, is it pronounced Channel or Chanel? Because I don't know. By Young Thug, that's a good one too. Drip Too Hard by Lil Baby and Gunna. Woke Up on You by someone I've never heard of, named Ransom. Dreamcatcher by Metro Boomin. I just love Sway Lee's voice. Like anything with Sway Lee in it, I listen to on repeat. I also like EDM music. I like the hardcore stuff. I have a playlist for that, but I also like the more like chill side of things, like the normal human music. I like that too. So I really like, well, this isn't really EDM, but like this is pop kind of. But I really like John John Bellion. That's how you say it. I watched a YouTube video on how to pronounce it because I couldn't figure it out. Stupid Deep and Blue. So good. Falls by Odessa. And that is the Cascade remix. Make sure like you listen to that remix because... Then Through These Tears by Lanny is so good. Treat Me So Bad by Marky Bassey. Fave song. Actually any song by Marky Bassey. That's all I got for songs. I don't really know. I like just like listening to music. I don't really have any songs right now that I'm like, oh my god, you know? Do you feel me? Okay, cool. Someone asked how long did it take for you to get your lashes that long? Okay, so I did talk about Lash Boost and how this is your best friend. I don't care who you are. Save up the money. Become a stripper. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But, well, I mean, if you really want to, go for it. Do whatever you can that is legal to get this money to buy this. As far as like length goes, I would say I use this pretty consistently almost every day for about a month, and that's when I really started to be like, oh. After about a month, I would keep using it pretty consistently for 3 months or so. So then you don't really have to use it every day. Number one, so you can conserve this precious product and it can last you a while. Number two, because I mean your lashes like reach a certain length. Like my lashes are never going to be out to here. It's just not going to happen as much as I want it to. It's not going to. Not to mention this stuff does upset your eyes a little bit. I am willing to push through. Some people don't like the way that it irritates their eyes. It makes them look red. A lot of people ask you, you know, like if you've been crying or like if you're high or, you know, like what's happening, but nope, it's just lash boost. But then when you stop using it, 2 days later, they'll be like, oh, your lashes, and you'll be like, I know. So yes, about a month, and then like I would use it maybe like once every week or like 3 times a week or every other day or whatever, however you're comfortable doing that, so that you can keep replenishing the length, because your eyelashes break off like curling them or taking off your mascara or all that good stuff, so you still want to like have lashes. Cool. Why, or no, I'm dumb, sorry. What are you most excited? Oh, am I having a stroke? Ugh. What are you most excited / nervous about for college? This is a really good question. See what I mean, guys? How the heck am I supposed to answer this while I'm like doing, like putting stuff on my face? It wouldn't work. I'm probably most excited for, I hate this. This is classic like freshman, like being so excited about like school. But I actually honestly am really excited for the opportunities that college will bring. Like I'm really excited to like not be confined to like these 0.2 square feet that I am right now, aka high school. I'm really excited to like actually like go out into the world, and by the world I mean Ames, but like I'm really pumped to meet new people, like actually get experience in like a job that I might possibly want to have, like learn more about that area of study, like be able to figure out what I like, what I don't like. I'm just really excited for like the new things that life will be throwing at me. Nervous? I'm probably most nervous for classes. I would say I'm like I really care about my grades. I work really hard to get my grades. So with as hard as people say college is, I'm scared that my hard work isn't gonna be enough. Who knows, maybe I'll just flunk out. But yeah, I'm scared for like the content of the classes. I'm scared it's gonna be like a lot harder than high school. I'll keep you posted. Okay. Buckle your seatbelt. This one is a doozy. Okay, it says, why do I sound like a dad? How do you, oh, no, that's not the right one. I'm illiterate or having a stroke. I don't know, or both. What's the biggest thing you've learned from high school? I've learned a lot from high school. I am the biggest advocate, if I could pronounce it, I would be that. I'm the biggest advocate for like self-growth, and I feel like these 4 years have been like obviously the most recent ones in my life, but very eye-opening, particularly these last 2 years, so my junior and senior year of high school. I've definitely learned a lot about myself. I would say becoming in tune with myself has been the biggest thing, that like I learned to be comfortable in my own skin, therefore I can just like live carefree, you know? I have become way more self-aware, way more self-accepting, self-loving, because high school you spend a lot of your time scrutinizing the things you do and like overthinking and like feeling a little bit insecure and like, oh, was that weird? Like, did I laugh too hard at that joke, or just stupid stuff like that, that I feel like you ultimately learn that like none of that really matters if you are content with yourself. And obviously it wasn't like freshman year I was like, I love myself.
Even though I look like a burnt chicken nugget, I still love myself.
It was like a process to get to this point kind of thing. Leading right into that, I also learned that when people are like, bro, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. Life in general is not that deep. It is. There's times for it to be deep, but there's also times where like things don't really matter as much as you think they do. Especially freshman and sophomore year, I would like freak out about a situation. I'd be like, oh my God, this breakup is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Or I'd be like, I'm never gonna get through this Twitter fight that I'm having. Or like, you just learn to be able to not take everything so seriously. I've learned to let friendships go, that we've drifted apart or it's just time for that toxic like relationship to be done. I've learned to just let it go rather than fight for something I know isn't worth it. You know what I mean? Because ultimately if something's meant to happen, it will. So I guess this is super long. What I would say is learn, does that sound weird to you? That sounds so weird. Learn to like who you are. That's what I would say the biggest thing is, and that will in turn make you able to kind of accept life for what it is. Yeah, okay, that was really long, I'm sorry. How do you make these collages? Because they're super cute. Thank you. I used Pic Collage for that specific collage that I posted on my story. I also posted one on my Instagram, used the same app. Just know it's very tedious work. I think it took me about 3 hours to do the one that I posted on Instagram. If you're willing to sit down and actually do it, Pic Collage is definitely the app for you. Next question says, will you cheer in college? Yes, I will. Well, that's the hope. I have to make the team first, just because Iowa State doesn't offer cheerleading scholarships, so I'll try out in the spring, see if I make it. Yes, I will be attending Iowa State, which is actually the next question. I'll be going to Iowa State. I know there's a lot of booing happening right now. Believe me, I'm a Hawk fan at heart too, but Iowa State has a really good advertisement program, which is what I want to go into. They also have one of the few institutions that have an event management program, like a direct one. I think actually the only one in the Midwest. And your girl cannot afford out-of-state tuition, so, and their cheer team obviously like is another factor that naturally I would consider. The next question reads, getting married. I mean, I kind of assume I probably will in the future, just knowing myself. I'm kind of a hopeless romantic. Obviously don't have my eye on anyone special at the moment, which is probably for the best. I don't think I need to be getting married right about now. Yes. I also have to find someone that will like deal with my crazy for like a long time, which is gonna be a difficult task in its own. I'm a pretty independent person. Just when it comes to like doing life, you know, I'm just wherever the wind takes me, I'm just going with the flow, you know? How many kids and names? Hopefully my hubby and I, you know, will have, I think my goal is probably 2 kids. Recently, like when I talk to people about this question, I mean, I don't just like go up to people, I'm like, how many kids do you want? But like, you know, if this topic comes up, a lot of people will say 3 or 4 actually. And I feel like, okay, I feel like I'd want 2 kids. So 1 kid, I feel like I would put all my energy on, I don't know what's happening, all my energy into, and like that's just not healthy for anyone, like that poor kid. I feel like 3 kids, I would be way too scatterbrained. I mean, I look at my mom right now, bless her heart, she does a great job, but I don't think I could do that. Like I don't think I could like make my brain go 3 different ways. I feel like 2 is a happy medium, because hopefully my hubby and I, hopefully like we're together and like parenting and stuff. Hopefully then there's like, it's 2 against 2, you know what I mean? You feel what I'm saying? We can split our attention evenly, and, but like I said, who's to say? Like seriously, I could be like an astronaut or like, you know, something. Oh, and names. Okay, I feel like everyone, like every girl has like a list on their phone of like names that they want to name their kids. I don't. Like, I don't think I've ever really thought about like baby names. I mean, sure, I've heard a name and then been like, oh, that's such a cute name, I want to name my kid that, but I haven't like ever taken the step to write it down, so I actually have no clue at all. I think nicknames are really cute though, so I feel like I'll probably have something that I can either like call them a shortened version of it. Watch me like procrastinate naming my child like to a point where they're like, Mommy, what's my name? And I'm like, I don't know. Why did I just think of that? Someone asked, how can I have the self-confidence like you do? That is probably the best compliment I could ever receive, especially because self-confidence and like the way I like portray myself is something I've worked on for a really long time. This is about to get real deep. So freshman year was super rough for me, which led to sophomore year being even rougher. I was very depressed sophomore year, to a point where my mom was like, hey, I think you should go see a therapist. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna go see a shrink, sorry. But I ended up going just because I really wanted to make her happy, so I was like, whatever. Ended up being the best decision of my life. Seriously, I still see my counselor to this day. I love him. So yeah, it's a process. Like, it didn't start out where I was always like waking up in the morning like, I love who I am, you know what I mean? I've never really struggled with like wanting to change my personality, more so just like not thinking anything of it. So I would say the biggest keys to like self-confidence is number one, self-acceptance. So there's some things about yourself you can't change. Like there's some things like that you literally just will never be able to change, whether that be physical or sometimes even like mental. There's just things that don't change. Like for me, I'm a perfectionist most of the time to a fault, which is I can't change that about myself. So you have to accept it and learn to deal with it and kind of like steer away from triggers that like promote your unhealthy habits. Also for me, that's like I have like a mole right here that I hate. I also have a pimple there right now, but you get the point, okay? There's stuff that we all want to change about ourselves. I think the biggest thing is like learning to accept those things, moving forward, and then like not caring. That's so much easier said than done. And I'm literally like summing up an entire like 2-year process that I had into like a few words. So obviously please take into account that this isn't like, oh, super confident all of a sudden. No, it's not how it works. I also think there's a whole mental side to self-confidence that people don't really talk about. I feel like everybody always talks about like self-confidence as being like how you view your like image, like physical image. Almost always, there's nothing wrong with what you look like ever. It's the thoughts in your brain like saying stuff that isn't healthy. The biggest thing for me that I learned from therapy was being able to recognize those thoughts, allowing yourself to think those thoughts, and then letting them go. Sometimes we think a certain thought and we're like, oh my gosh, like, okay, let's say it's a guy. And you're like, I can't think about him. I can't do it. I can't even think about him. Or I shouldn't be thinking about him, whatever. Well, you are. So accept that, think about it, and then let it go. Move on, okay? And I know you're like, what in the world does this have to do with self-confidence? But as soon as you learn to accept yourself in like every aspect of your life, including like your mental state, it makes things so much easier. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Next question, before this gets too serious. How did you first start getting into makeup and what did you do to improve your techniques? Okay, so I first started getting into makeup, well, okay, funny story. I've told a million people this. So I used to go to Libby Lou all the time. I don't know if you know what that is, but it used to be this place where you could like make your own lipstick, you got all dressed up, like people gave you a makeover, you danced, it was a blast. So I made my own lipstick and I brought it home with me, and my little sister Hayden at the time was, I think maybe 1. And so I put this bright pink lipstick on the toilet seat. I was probably 6 or 7 probably. Next thing I know, my dad is screaming and I come out and Hayden took the lipstick in her hand like this, went like this all over our white carpet. We're trying to sell our house at this point too. So then my dad took away all of our makeup for literally 4 years, I think. I finally got it back when I was like 12. I mean, obviously I had the classic like Claire's makeup, and I don't know, I just have always been obsessed with color and like just doing makeup. As far as improving my techniques, I think definitely YouTube has been like the biggest thing. Otherwise, like YouTube is huge, but I've also done a lot of trial and error. I would say YouTube is where I find the products that I want to try next. Like doing things on my own face is where I figure out like what styles I like. Okay, just for example, eyeshadow primer on my eyes looks greasy, so I always use concealer, or sometimes I don't even use primer. And that's something that like you can watch YouTube videos, but it really comes from like doing your makeup over and over to learn about how your face works, what works best on it, that kind of thing. I'm not gonna answer that question. When did you start cheer? So I kind of answered this in the beginning, but I've been cheering for 10 years, so I was 8 when I started. I did gymnastics until I was about 6, and then I moved, didn't really do anything, and then a couple girls at my school were doing cheer, and I was like, oh, I want to be popular, and then I did cheer, and then here we are. Still not popular. Another question I got was what is your favorite IE team? So IE, I will eat. My favorite IE team would probably be, you know, the one that I'm on because I love my girls. No, for sure would be Lethal. I think is there 23 or 24 of us? I don't know. I think there's 24. But love all of them. We're doing pretty well this season. We have a full paid bid to Summit, which was super unexpected. And, you know, I'm really proud of all of us. We've been working really hard for this, and it's really bittersweet for my last season to be able to finally get like one of the highest honors you can get in cheerleading. So I'm really excited to go and see where we place and see how we do. As far as like a team besides myself, next would probably be the mini team that I coach, Mini Skulls. I love those gals with all my heart. They just bring me so much joy every day. Mini is ages, I think 5 to 8 maybe. It's so cute and so fun and keeps my life a little bit more lighthearted. And I really just enjoy teaching little kids and like planting a seed about the sport that I absolutely love. There's nothing I would love more than to see them take 10 years of their life to do this sport, because it truly has like changed my life. I don't know what, 10 years is a long time. I don't know where I would be without it. You know what I mean? Okay, so I got a question from Zach Drummond. This says, how are babies made? Zach, they actually come like in like a bird brings them down, and then the family's just like, oh, baby, and then you're like, yeah. So nothing too crazy happens. Why does my poop taste different than my dog's? I would see your physician. I don't really know. My poop tastes the same as my dog's, so like it's kind of weird that yours doesn't, but I don't know. And then he also said, you can't see my name for these, can you? Yes, you can, and I just announced that to everyone, so good. All right, guys, this has been about 3 hours in the making. I filmed at least 2 different times, like 20 minutes in length, without knowing that my phone had stopped recording. So, glad we got here, eventually. Yes, I'm dead serious when I say this. I hate saying, like, leave in the comments, because it, like, makes me feel weird. But, like, message me, comment, whatever. Like, if you want to see a specific video, I would love that, because I'm unoriginal and can't come up with content. I've kind of, like, taken a turn from makeup videos. I've kind of, like, done more, like, vlogs, obviously this Q&A, that kind of thing, rather than makeup. If you would prefer I get more into makeup, I am totally down. Just let me know, you know? All right, that's all I got for you today, folks.